Hello, this was supposed to be a 1-minute waffle about the Scions of Sinai, Atlantikas, Pinotage 2020, but it's going to be a heck of a lot longer than that, because I want to talk a little bit about why Pinotage is a little like Marvel Comic Universe's character StarLord. But before I get into all that, I need to say to die-hard red wine fans, this is not a red wine, or at least it's not a red wine as you know it. This wine is meant to be served chilled, ideally on its own. It will not razzle with your lamb ragu, and it certainly won't parlez with your prime rib. Instead, this wine is a statement. It's a statement in a two-sided debate over what Pinotage should be. And I'm sure you've never sat through one of these debates, but I have, and so now I'm going to drag you in with me. Not because I want you to suffer, but more because I think this is a really important debate to understand from both sides, and also to use this framework to discuss any cultivar that we enjoy as a wine. Okay, let's break it down. In this particular video, Team A will be the other guys. Now, they believe that Pinotage, in its best case, should be ripe, rich, regal, plenty of layers of plum, black fruit, dark chocolate, and perhaps a hint of smoky bacon on the tail for gravitas. It is treated with moderate rigor in the cellar and given lashings of oak to round it all out. There are some absolutely exquisite examples of Pinotage like this, and I'd like to say that this style of Pinotage could probably stand up as an international alternative to perhaps Spain's Rioja or Argentinian Malbec, but that's a discussion for another day. So Team B would be the category that Bernard Bradell and his Scions of Sinai wines fall into. Instead of looking for a big, rich, ripe wine that's rounded out by lashings of oak, they're asking a question: where did Pinotage come from? Who were its parents? I guess Team B is a little bit like people who watch Guardians of the Galaxy and ask the question, what is StarLord even doing there? He's this weird, indecisive guy with absolutely no superpowers, no impulse control, and generally will make poor life choices that end up getting his companions into trouble. Some might argue that this is what they think about Pinotage too. But then when you watch Guardians 2 and you realize that StarLord's dad is a celestial, or he's a god, or even better, he's Kurt Russell, then you start to go, oh, well, okay, maybe StarLord has some redeeming factors and we should just keep him around to see if there's a third installation. Where was I going? To bring the analogy back to Pinotage, Pinotage parents are Cinsault and Pinot Noir. Now, Pinot Noir, whether you're into it or not, is about as close to godlike as you can get when it comes to grape cultivars. Also, the Wine Fashion Police will tell you. And so it's probably for this reason that many winemakers ask themselves, in what way can I vinify Pinotage so as to better showcase cultivars like Pinot Noir and Cinsault through Pinotage? Now, depending on which team you're on, that question is either utterly nonsensical or pure genius. Team B usually make their Pinotage by harvesting fairly early, using as little oak as possible, or no oak, or very old oak. And the idea is to produce a lighter, clean, pure red that is hugely aromatic, with candy floss and cherry and raspberry in the most legit aromatic raspberry sense possible, as well as some fairly chunky, crunchy tannins on the tail. So to sum up the debate, some might argue that both expressions are valid: big, rich, ripe, regal, heavily oaked, or light, aromatic, slightly grippy with raspberry and cherry notes. But if you've ever sat through one of these debates, you'll realize it's probably more of a Highlander sort of thing, and in the end there can be only one. But until then, I suggest you engage with both types. Start with the Scions of Sinai Atlantikas Pinotage 2020.